Update us on Girls Trip. What's the latest?
We got a script now.
You have a script now? Because everybody...
We're working, all right? It's not final. We're developing. We're getting close.
Let me ask you this. Who turned down the role of Dina? There's a star out there who really regrets that they passed on that role.
You know, it's interesting. I got that for every movie. Almost every movie I have, I've got somebody that could have been a part of it and that for some reason, an agent or miscommunication or just timing didn't do it. There's a big actress who came up to me at an Emmy party and said, "Damn it, I should have done Dina." You know who you are. I tried.
Will spills Hollywood secrets just like that in his new book, Who Better Than You? The Art of Healthy Arrogance and Dreaming Big, out now. This is the real deal. After all, Will's films helped him build an estimated $60 million empire.
If you're not at that point in your life where you feel like you are quite achieving everything you want to, this book is for you. This is about producing a blockbuster life, not just movies and TV shows. Produce a life that is worth living. And in order to do that, you got to understand the bottom line is getting it done. That starts with you and having that internal confidence and having that healthy arrogance.
I remember interviewing you at the Obsessed Junket, and I was like, this dude is killing it. But Beyonce told you no a bunch, right?
She told me no 5 times.
I am a businesswoman, and I am quite gangster, I should say.
Well, I like that. I like that.
I kept going back to her and asking her, what's holding you back? What are the elements that are making you say no? And she was very gracious, but she was very steadfast and said, listen, I can't do the movie for various reasons. Each time I came back, I had less and less of a reason for her to say no until on that 6th time, she finally said yes. Here's the thing, though. She made the movie better. So it's what I call a fortuitous no. You can get told no. We all get told no. We all get rejected. You don't give up, right? You keep going, and sometimes you can actually make your project even better by getting those no's. So thank you, Beyonce, for telling me no.
But she says no a lot. How did you get the yes?
She says no all the time. Yeah. She told me no when I asked her to perform for the Oscars, too, actually. And that was another thing I talk about in the book, and I was hoping I didn't burn my one Beyonce yes
right.
for the Oscars, but ultimately we got her to open that show. You know what it is? It is about understanding what's important to people and making sure that your goals line up with theirs. And so you find a mutual commonality of value. And so you figure out, I don't care if it's Beyonce or a spouse or just somebody that you're working with, a coworker, what's important to them, right? Find out what's important to them.
Will also shares the secret to finding the silver lining in any situation, even that infamous Oscar slap.
There's a chapter in the book, and it's called Every Disaster is Not a Failure. And you gotta remember that. So even though that show didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, I still remain very proud of it. It is a perfect example of how you have to focus on the things you can control.
All right, let's talk Kevin Hart. Kevin almost killed your career.
Kevin Hart is an incredibly loyal person. He's also the spawn of Satan. You know what he did? He had the audacity while we were shooting Ride Along. He double booked himself in the middle of the Ride Along production and went to do a comedy show. But you know what the lesson is there? When people show you who they are, believe it. Kevin Hart has always been the guy who will triple book himself.
And Kevin never told you about this until the last moment possible.
That's how the devil works. He knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't tell me until right before, so there was nothing I could really do about it. You know what else he did? He invited me to go up to New York with him via private jet. He said, come with me, Will, so you can make sure I get back in time. What he did was make sure that if it went bad, I would be complicit. That's why I say he's a spawn of Satan.
And there was a point where he looked at you and told you, well, we ain't gonna make it.
He said, well, we tried. I said, we tried. It was like Usual Suspects when you realize who Kaiser Soze is. I was like, you are Kaiser Soze. What are you doing to me? What do you mean we tried? This was your plan all along.
And you somehow, some way figured out how to make it work, which is really the story. That's what the story's about.
That's all that matters. At the end of the day, you're either making it happen or not. You're either producing or not.
The audiobook. You really changed the game with that. Kevin, explain that.
I produced the audiobook like a movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I went out and cast it. I've got Kevin Hart. I've got Regina Hall. I've got Idris Elba, Steve Harvey, Carmela Anthony. I brought in my friends. I brought in the big dog.
You gonna die tonight. Let's turn up.
No, we can't do this. Kevin can't die tonight.
I'm gonna let y'all off this time,
The audiobook feels like a movie that you're actually watching and listening to. I wanted to be immersive. I wanted you to forget about some guy talking to you. I hate when audiobooks are boring. It's not boring at all. I got sound effects. I got all kinds of stuff. I produced it, man. You know me. That's what I do.
That's what you do. And I also love that you start at the beginning and you talk about your first movie at Florida A&M. And you invited everybody, including Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah did not come. Just spoiler alert. She didn't come. But it taught me something because I invited Oprah and all these fancy Hollywood folks, and I realized I wasn't making it for like the important people, right? The people I call the front row, because I had this whole front row empty, but every other seat was packed. And so many times in our lives, we're doing everything we can to impress people that don't actually matter. We're trying to impress the quote unquote important people, and now Oprah and I are pretty cool. So now she shows up for me, absolutely.
You tell a great Paul Walker story, and that you two during Takers had a moment where it looked like it was going to go sideways.
Yeah, we did. God bless Paul Walker, an amazing person. But on the first day of that movie Takers, he was not happy at all because we had this whole image of the way the guys were going to dress and how they were going to look. And Paul said, that's not my look. That's not what I want to do. And he and the studio really got into it. And Paul said, I'm out of here. I'm flying back to Hawaii. I'm not doing this movie. And I had to go in and I had to do this method that I call take the thunder out. And that is the power that you have when you go in and you admit everything that you've done wrong. Everybody's always ready to fight each other and fight these battles. But when there's a war to win, you can't focus on the battle. And I went in and I told him, I said, listen, this is your first day on a Will Packer shoot. We've never worked together before. It doesn't matter how we got here. This is on me. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to work so that every other day beyond this one is going to be a better day because I don't want you to have that experience working with me. I said it and I meant it. You got to be authentic. And I looked him in the eye and he said, you know, I get it. The studio's the bad cop. You're the good cop, but you're a damn good cop, Will Packer. Yeah. And he did the movie, and that movie opened #1. This book is about not just the film industry, it's about manifesting a more full life. To do that, you have to have a supreme confidence. Not that I could be successful, but that I'm going to be successful. It's just a matter of time.
I think for every person that picks up this book, it really is a manual to be a better you, isn't it? That's what it's about. It's not about being a movie producer.
No, not at all. It is literally about what are the things that are important to you in your life. Sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes you have to understand that giving up is not the same as quitting. We talk about that. And sometimes you have to understand that the people around you, they can either be helping you towards your goal or holding you back. There's no in between. And so sometimes we have to adjust our circle and be careful who we're giving our energy to.
What's the dream now for you? What's the dream gig, the dream thing?
You know what? It's honestly legacy. It's not just listen, now that I'm a minority owner of the Atlanta Falcons, I want a Super Bowl, okay? I do want an Atlanta
That's impossible. I'm sorry. Okay, no, those are the things.
That was mean, sir, all right? That was unnecessary, and that is unhealthy arrogance that you just exhibited right there. You know what? I don't think it's a specific project. I think it literally is how many people can I affect? Can I touch? How many people from, the Will Packer tree? I've had folks that have interned with me that have gone on to win Oscars and Emmys and start their own companies. That feels incredible. How many of those types of people can I affect? Because ultimately, that is the true measure of success.